Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Everyman Show. I am John Everyman. I can't believe it. I'm about to say all the stuff I'm about to say after this sentence. I can't believe it. The guests, the co-hosts I have on this show, it feels like I've done this before, and I haven't done it in a very long time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting with Mr. Goodnight.
With
Holy Moses, man.
2 T's. Don't forget the second one.
Oh, yeah, with 2 T's. My bad. Damn, man.
I'm still gonna always be ignorant.
Jesus Christ. I was scared. I don't know what happened to him with so many things going on in the world today.
You know what? Don't even get into it, man. Next topic.
You're right. You're right. Next topic.
You did it right.
Came in quick. Ladies and gentlemen, and we got Mateo back in the house. It's good to see you again, man.
Sure.
I know it's not as long with you, but whatever. Moving right along. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited. I want to just get straight to the guests here today. This is excitement at its finest. We've had so many interesting guests this year, but this one here, I believe for me personally, is already one of the most interestings of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a guest of wildlife nature-like talents. That's what this man is today. It's not.
But he's also an addict.
An addict. You're right. He is. He is.
Yeah.
Of the reptile kind. I hope I said that right. I don't know the species right now.
So, you want to say his name?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Kevin, a.k.a. the Snakeaholic, in this mother. Did I say it all right?
Yeah, you got it, man.
You sure?
Yeah.
That is freaking dope.
Snakeaholic, baby.
The Snakeaholic. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that must throw you guys off for a loop. Snakeaholic. What is this guy talking about? How do we just introduce a guy like this?
Are you seeking treatment for this? Are you in recovery, or you're just full on?
I've been to rehab about 3-4 times, but I just always slip back into remission, just start catching snakes again and wrestling alligators, and it's bad, man. It's a problem.
That's crazy.
Can't stop it. It's in my blood.
It's you gotta just keep leveling up until you catch our reptilian politicians.
That's what I'm doing, man. That's the goal. That's the real mission.
That's the real. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing, by the way, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thank
you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, man.
Honestly, man, I can't believe that we're introducing. I don't know what's the proper term. Is it really your snakeaholic? Is those real people, or is it like a snake hunter? What are you?
A hunter?
Yeah.
Hunter? Yeah.
What's your proper term here? I don't know how to introduce you. I guess that's when my rambling died out.
Yeah, I mean, my professional title is, my name is Kevin Snakeaholic Pav. That's what I go by. And
it's on your driver's license, I assume.
Yeah, right there, Snakeaholic. No, my full name is Kevin Pav, but I'm the #1 python contractor for Florida Fish and Wildlife Services. I hold the state record for the longest Burmese python ever caught in Florida, and I'm also a professional alligator wrestler at Everglades Holiday Park.
Jesus Christ, man, you're such a badass.
So,
Next topic.
these came first to you.
I usually go with the chicken, but the egg also is in there, so
Okay.
it's back. No, I actually, so it's kind of a long story, but I was actually born and raised in New York, and I moved down here to be a professional alligator wrestler and to train to do that. And I've been working with reptiles my whole life, but definitely the alligator stuff came first. That's why I moved down here, and I knew I wanted to get involved with pythons, and I got hired on within 6 months of living down here. So now I just bounce back and forth between those two professions.
I'm confused already. Like, how does one New Yorker wake up with a passion
to grab a gator.
to want to grab a gator? Right.
New York
Like,
City, so I'm just pictured.
I grew up in Long Island, New York, so
Okay.
about 40 minutes from the closest subway station. I went to school at SUNY New Paltz, so about hour and a half, 2 hours north of the city in the Hudson Valley. So yeah, definitely not your typical like python catching.
You did see some outdoors, like you were.
Oh
around-
yeah.
Yeah.
No, since I was a kid, I've always been obsessed with reptiles and any little animal that moved, any little critter. Like, dude, I just wanted to play with it. And just the older I got, the bigger and more dangerous the animals got.
that's what I figured, that the game wasn't fun enough for you.
Oh yeah.
Do you get a thrill out of how dangerous they are, or do you still have fun with?
Oh,
fun with
100%.
reptiles too.
Yeah, I don't try to deny that at all. definitely am an adrenaline junkie. I do a lot of work with animals that really get your blood pumping, and that's definitely part of it for me. But above all that, it's really about wildlife conservation. I'm a very, very passionate wildlife conservationist, and everything I do is working towards educating people more and just bringing awareness to, you know, our environment that's suffering and places where we can all make a difference in the world.
So and in answering that, I want to know what is it like when you're contracted to catch one of these things?
Well, I mean, that's a complicated question.
Okay.
They don't pay you by the snake?
Well, they do. So the way that we get compensated, we get an hourly rate, which is, you know, it's pretty much minimum wage. It just
Right.
covers your gas and tolls,
Sure.
and then we get paid a bounty per snake. That bounty is for the first 4 feet of that snake, it's $50, and then every foot over 4 feet is an additional $25. So if you're catching like a 10-foot snake, it's like $200. But that's not going to happen every day, and very, very few people actually do this to the point of it being like they're making a living
job,
doing it.
yeah.
It's really it's not designed to be a full-time job. I'm one of very few people that takes it as a full-time job, puts in enough hours, catches enough volume of pythons to actually make a living off of it.
Are you doing this then for the passion?
Oh, 100%.
And
Yeah.
you just go
Yeah, of course.
outside every day and
Oh,
put in hours.
Yeah.
So you're like living the dream job in this
Oh,
case.
100%, man. Like before I submitted my application, I had volunteered over 200 hours of my spare time to catching
Wow.
pythons before I even submitted my application to get hired.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a requirement?
No, not at all.
No, he just knew.
There's people with a lot less experience that have gotten hired on. But to me, it was a combination of, I was kind of raised in a fairly like business mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew going into that, if I want to get hired, I want to beef up my resume as much as
Sure.
possible. And at the same time, it's just what I love doing.
Yeah,
Like
you
Of course, you gotta love that. I
Yeah.
mean,
You go to any job interview like, I got 200 hours of this.
he's got equipment
Hey,
invested.
I
in
got
it.
200 hours.
Hey, you know, if you want to quit Postmates,
Next topic. So what you actually do? Like you catch the gators? Like what you do after?
So all the alligators that I work with are nuisance alligators. Those are alligators that have shown up in people's backyards, front yards, swimming pools, stuff like that. And we get issued permits from Florida Fish and Wildlife to go catch those specific alligators that are, you know, making people feel like they're in danger. So that work is all done under Paul Berdard. He's our head trapper. I work with the guys from the Gator Boys TV show. And
Okay.
so that's when we're actually going out to catch an alligator. Majority of what we do and majority of what I do specifically is just more on the education side. I'll do anywhere from 10 to 15 alligator shows a day when I work, and just, you know, kind of they're based in education. Like it's education sugar coated with entertainment. And we handle live alligators that we train and we habituate them. And we basically just try and educate tourists and have a fun time with it at the same time, you know, just educating and inspiring people and making them have a good time the
Yeah,
whole
because
time.
I was confused. Cause like the tagging them, you know, is the tag is like people go out there tagging gators, you know. They got
Yeah. That was actually one of my old roommates was the head biologist for University of Florida, and he did
nice.
a ton of research with crocodilians out there.
That's the proper scientific term.
is
Crocodilians.
that just everything of the gator?
Yeah,
family?
that's like the whole
Crocodilian.
family. That's got alligators, crocodiles, caimans.
Fire! If I had a punk rock band, the
Crocodilians.
Crocodilians.
Oh, hey, that sounds good though. I ain't gonna lie, kind of
No,
like
and he could open it up like crocodile, yo.
DJ Crocodilian.
Hey, so let me ask: in the crocodilian family, which is the baddest of them all? Who's the king of them?
It's definitely not alligators. I'll tell you
yeah,
that
no,
much.
oh,
come
It's
on,
not,
man!
like,
I thought we was like.
I won't try to put
dangerous.
myself on a pedestal. Like they're definitely potentially very dangerous animals. Like there's many stories of
they can do
people getting
damage.
arms and legs ripped off. There's like plenty of stories of people getting killed by them. But they're not aggressive animals by nature. And really what it comes down to is whenever you start thinking about big apex predators, you got to think about their natural prey. So American alligators are not the types of animals that are going to be targeting wildebeest, gazelle, deer. Like they're not targeting giant animals. In our South Florida ecosystem, they typically eat stuff like birds, turtles, fish, ducks. like small prey items. So they're not naturally aggressive towards humans because they're not really attacking large prey items on a regular basis. So it's more opportunistic that they come in conflict with people. Where if you go to other countries, like you look at your Australian saltwater crocodiles, your Nile crocodiles in Africa, they are taking down wildebeest, like massive animals, and that's why they're so much more dangerous towards people, is because they are already targeting animals our size.
So
and
we're like
they get
bitches
bigger.
to them. They're like, psst, bro, I just got a wildebeest the other night, bro. You ain't shit.
A light
damn.
meal.
That's actually,
You know?
yeah.
Like we're eating a salad.
Yeah, I was about to say salad.
I mean,
Or probably now humans are more like an unhealthy snack. You know, we're like a honey bun.
I mean, you're looking like a snack, bro. So I mean,
I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat a wildebeest later, but I'm gonna eat this human right now just to get me
Yeah,
by.
we some chicharron.
Nah, they just see you float like they see you floating down. They're like, hey, bro, get out of here, please.
Oh man,
Hey,
that's
so
hilarious.
what's the friendliest you've gotten to be with one of these crocodilians?
so they,
How cool can you be with these guys? Can you put them in your
we
car
hold
and just hang out?
hands. We go on long walks, blustery breezes.
We just ride down the street cruising for the babes.
Yeah. I make them wear sunglasses, seatbelts on in the passenger seat, you know, have a good time with it. So all our animals, our alligators naturally don't form bonds like people do. They're not going to form bonds like a dog or a cat or another person will. They just don't have that in their biology. So you can habituate them to where they 100% understand that you're not a threat and you're also not, something that they're going to immediately try to eat. So you develop this like working relationship with them where they kind of tolerate you and incorporate you into their life, but they're extremely opportunistic and they don't have this human concept of like, the body is sacred. If another alligator dies, other alligators are just going to eat him because they don't let anything go to waste. That's just how their biology
killing
Man, I
is.
don't believe in that
Yeah.
shit.
So anything like, we don't do that. We think that's weird, but to them, they're just like, you're just gonna waste all of that nutrients. Like that could hold me over for another year. So they just don't do that. They don't form bonds in the same way that we do as humans, or we do with dogs, or we do with cats. But you can definitely form a working relationship to them, and they have a ton of individual personality. They have very complex brains and very complex communication styles and stuff like that. So they're way more intelligent than most people think.
That.
Yeah, they're even more intelligent than some dumbass.
Next topic.
You know what? Pythons are a huge problem here in South Florida, or in Florida overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, they affect our ecosystem.
Yeah, they definitely are. What do you feel like your effort right now? Is it enough to control what's going on? Like, or you guys feel like there's not enough manpower out there catching these pythons? Because what I understand when I read the papers every day, this stuff is like spreading like wildfire with these pythons, man. And they're getting into these fights with the gators, and then you get some badass pictures, and then you got guys like Kevin whipping out 20-foot pythons and shit, setting records. What type of shit is that?
It's a complicated question. Now, before I dive into Python specifically, I do want to mention that this is not specifically about snakes. It's not specifically about even pythons. It's about invasive species overall.
Right.
That's what we're dealing with.
Of course.
Because there's no prejudice against the animal. It's just the location of that animal. Because invasive species is a global issue. It's not just something we face here. It's not exclusively with pythons. On a global scale, invasive species are actually the second cause of extinction. The second leading cause of global extinction. Number one is habitat loss, and number two, right below it, is invasive species. So it's a huge issue, and South Florida has the highest density of invasive species anywhere else on the entire planet.
Are humans an invasive species?
We 100% are, and we are the number one
Without
invasive
hesitation,
species
baby.
to the planet.
So
But number two is actually feral cats.
Feral
yes,
cats.
have you seen them
Yeah.
in Tropical Park? It's fucking horrifying.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy, and people always get awkward when you bring that up
What do you
because
mean?
they're fluffy and they're cute and everybody
Right.
loves them, but they actually kill more animals than almost all the other animals like combined. It's crazy.
Really?
How
Are
bad
they our
they can be.
tigers of the neighborhoods?
They are, because they not only just like pythons are very detrimental to our ecosystem in South Florida because they consume a lot of animals. But a python's only going to eat It's only going to kill to eat. Feral cats actually kill recreationally. You know?
I like how you put it
For
as
sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
You did.
how many stories have you heard of someone's cat, like indoor outdoor cat, brings them dead birds, brings them mice,
Yeah,
you
for
know?
no reason.
Yes.
Like, look, I caught this.
Yes.
Yay.
A trophy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
So
the human doesn't understand that. They're like, this
No, 'cause
animal's
dogs are
disgusting.
too-
yeah, and they
I mean,
just
humans understand.
No, they
sweep it
understand.
away.
They
They've-
just know they're living.
No,
with
they don't know they're
something-
damaging the ecosystem. They
Yeah.
don't know
They
these
don't know
feral
that.
cats are doing that.
No,
They're
you
just
know you
looking at
damaging
us
something
like,
because
fuck
every day he brings something to you. You know
Yeah, every
where
day-
you going get this shit from? You know it's bad. Now, right there, you be like, every day, bro, you bringing me some
The
shit,
cats
bro.
don't
Where
even
you
eat
going?
the ugly birds.
Yeah.
They eat the nice ones.
Yeah,
it.
they-
Man, but you fucked up my
That's
mind.
funny, yeah,
Feral
yeah.
cats.
I would
Yeah.
never. I would never.
Really?
I would've- that's cool.
Huge, like globally, they're the
That's
most
crazy.
invasive species right below people. It's really, they can be a huge issue. Yeah,
Right below people.
yeah, and it's
The cats are beating us.
I love cats, man.
yeah, no, and I love cats. I've been raised
Hey.
with a cat household, like
Hold on a
growing
second.
up.
Anyone who lets Mr. Mittens outside late at night,
go fuck
fuck you. You fucking up the environment. Keep Mr. Mittens and Mr. Garfield inside. That's why you buy them Friskies.
That's
and
why
you
Or
got
if you're
cat
in New
litter.
York,
Yeah.
just keep them in the bodega. Never let them out.
Definitely.
Seriously, yo, what's fucking wrong with y'all? Y'all killing our
It-
fucking world.
That-
It
But
definitely, if you have a cat, it is better to make it an indoor cat. You know, they're very, they're playful.
They
They'll
fucked
figure
up.
something
They
to play
fucked
with
up.
inside. They don't
No,
have
but
to
they-
go outside. If you
but
do
that
have
makes
an
sense,
outdoor cat, it is nice to get one of those bell collars for it.
You
That'll
just-
help it save.
You know what?
It won't be able to catch as many animals.
I think we just figured out why the Egyptians don't exist anymore because they had a lot of cats on their paintings
What?
and shit. You never
Think
saw
about-
pictures of dogs.
All right, because like there's cybernetic humans, right? Like AI humans is one thing, but an AI cat would be so.
What is it? Maybe they are
terrifying.
alienized.
Not tensing up at the thought of just a super like intelligent cat. Imagine if jaguars were the smartest animal on earth. How fucking evil they would be.
Yo, for real, yo.
So you catch all type. Next topic.
You know what? Tell
Where
us
they
what
at?
happened when you caught the world's state's largest
Man,
snake.
let's find out what it's like to catch a snake,
Oh,
and
wait.
then what it's like to catch the biggest one ever.
Okay,
Actually, that's
know
a
what?
good,
Good
that's a
idea.
good plan.
No, he
Good
been saying
idea.
that.
Let's
That's
do
what he been saying
it.
the whole time.
I like
Okay.
it.
I was already agreeing with it.
Breaking the game. Let's go.
All right, so my typical work week is I do 3 days of alligator wrestling at Everglades Holiday Park, and then I do 4 nights of catching pythons. That's my typical work week. So when I get out and I'm going to do a python survey, I'm going to gas up, I'm going to pack the car. We have spotlights, headlamps, got to have your snacks in the car.
Is this
Got it.
a
And,
nighttime activity only? Do people do it in the day?
It depends on the weather. That's what it's all about. For most of the year, we're looking at for about 90% of the year, it's exclusively nighttime activity that we're looking at. But once we get into these colder months where these real cold fronts come through, these are tropical ectothermic animals. They are going to need to sit in the sun and bask and stuff like that. So as the temperatures come down, there is windows of opportunity for the daytime. And I actually like the daytime stuff better. I can sleep like a normal person instead of coming home at 7 a.m. and having my windows all blacked out so I can sleep. But like, it's but yeah. So we'll go out, and I have levee keys issued by South Florida Water Management District, and I have all those yellow gates you see that just go out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I have the keys for those, so I'm able to access these different properties all over, and I have like a play-by-play of my plan of where I'm going to go, how I'm going to find them. And typically I have a big roof platform, as you guys saw,
Jurassic
and
Park mobile.
I'll typically try and get somebody to drive, and me and my friends will rotate back and forth. Like, ideally I want one person driving, 2 people on the roof spotting for them. And these snakes are extremely cryptic animals. They're very, very good at hiding. They don't expose a lot of their bodies. So most of the time I'm spotting the mid-body pattern of the snake, just like, the hat brim.
Right.
Like, I'm spotting that, and I'm spotting 6 inches or less of the snake most of the time. So it's very, very minor details that we try and pick up on. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes they're crossing the road or somewhere else, but that's not what you really target. That's just like a free, it's like the free space on a bingo board,
right.
Like,
You got an easy one
Yeah.
that day.
so we do that. I do strictly live capture, so I'm just bare hands, live capture, dive on them, grab them, wrestle them into a bag. And then how the process used to be is that,
So when you're wrestling them,
yeah.
how do they try to fight you off?
Well, so these are constrictors. So the way that they typically function is that they're going to try and wrap you up in the coils and just like lock down. So that's what the whole you flinching
so
over there.
Cheers.
How do you get out of a Chinese finger trap?
So the way that I've been handling snakes my entire life. I have never been a fan of pinning snakes behind the head. I've never done that. Because if you do it wrong, you can actually do some damage to some certain species that have delicate vertical columns and stuff like that, or their skulls. So I've never been a fan of that. I've always been a free handler, but with these pythons, they're actually so big. The only way to really control them in the way that we need to control them is to do head grabs. So I'll come in and my first goal is to just bam, grab it right behind the head, lock in, and then it's immediately going to start throwing coils. It's going to start twisting, trying to bite you back and forth. So you're just dodging strikes and stuff like that. And that's an ideal situation. Sometimes it's less than ideal. I have to grab them mid-body or grab them by the tail, and they're going to be striking like right at you. And they have huge strike ranges because they're so powerful.
So how much does that hurt?
It doesn't necessarily. It depends. I mean, you can.
It can hurt, but it doesn't always.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm like, I mean, I don't want to like come off as arrogant, but I'm very good at what I do.
Right.
It's very rare for me to get bit. It does happen, and they are extremely powerful animals. The bites don't actually typically hurt that much because we are dealing with a defensive behavior. So they're typically just going to bite and let go because they want to get away.
Right.
So they're just trying to freak you out so they can get a break and take off. And their teeth are razor sharp. Like they're giant recurved teeth. And they have like 100 of them in their mouth. And they'll just bite and let go. And they're very, very sharp. So you almost barely feel it. Like they're just so sharp. The problem really is if you get nervous and you pull back, then they'll rip, and sometimes they'll break teeth off in your hand. And I had a tooth in my hand for like 6 months until my body worked it up to the surface and I was able to pull it back out.
I can visualize you doing when you as a kid, and I'm hanging
And you're
with
just thinking about the snake whose tooth is in your hand.
Oh yeah.
and I'm walking down the street, and you're like, "Yo, I see a snake," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool." And you grab, I can just visualize like we kids. I'm your homeboy. We got our book bags on. We walking to school and shit. And next thing I know, you like, "Oh, it's a snake," and I'm like, "Yeah, cool." And I keep walking. Next thing I know, you grab one, tangling with him in the bushes. That's some crazy.
That's been me my whole life.
I'm like, what the fuck?
My parents' favorite question was, "Where's Kevin?" Because you couldn't find me. Like it's just a second.
I
just
Is this a family thing, or is this something that you're the weird one in the family?
That's the best part of it. Is not at all. Trying to get my mom and or dad to handle a snake is hilarious because they didn't grow up with it. They both grew up being afraid of them. So it's just the total opposite end of the spectrum, and I'm always like pushing their limits and boundaries because I just like poking at them.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to have you as a son, man.
Oh
so
no,
bringing me snakes.
Dude, I'll be honest. I wouldn't want to have me as a son either.
Yeah, just thinking he got Steve Irwin by some.
For real, yo, nah, man, I ain't messing with you, man.
But
Keep
you're a
them
pro,
snakes
man. It seems
outside.
like you know what you're doing, and you really
And it took definitely like one of the reasons why. I mean, one of the reasons why I've excelled so much is. The main reason is really all those years of just catching snakes recreationally, learning about these animals, patterning their behavior, honing my skills, just sharpening that edge to be really, really good at it. And that's what I've been doing my whole life. So now that I'm able to do it professionally, it's awesome because I've spent my whole life basically preparing for this.
Yeah, definitely. That's what's up. Next topic.
Record snake. What's the clout been like since then? They showed it on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, it was featured on Joe Rogan last week, and it's definitely it became essentially a global phenomenon like almost overnight, and I kind of anticipated that, just like based on historic stuff, but it's definitely been a lot of attention, and I'm very grateful for it, and I am trying to ride the wave as much as possible, so to say, but I mean that's not why we do what we do. No, and I mean I do like the publicity, not really on a personal level, but because I think that as you gain more and more publicity and you're more in the public eye, you have an obligation to
as your platform grows, you could do more.
As your platform grows, you have this kind of obligation to do something with it. And really, you know, all the attention that I get, I try and funnel that straight back into wildlife conservation and just educating people about their impact on the planet, educating people about invasive species. And that's what it comes down to. Is
So you're taking the opportunity to teach people while you have
he's
their
not an
attention.
whore, man.
Yeah.
He's trying to do some good with it.
Right,
Yeah.
which is so is dope.
Nice
That-
meeting you too, man.
We gotta go catch some snakes, man.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's very noble, man. That shows the true dedication to your passion with catching
And
snakes.
I think, man, just working with animals in general, if you don't have real love for it, like if you're in it for attention or money,
Oh yeah.
it's gonna go wrong for you eventually.
Yeah. You do not get into my fields, my professional fields, for the
for
money.
the gram, baby.
Yeah.
Doing it for the gram. Look at this snake.
There are people
Boom.
that get
Lose
into
the
it,
arm
but like
right
when
after.
you meet someone that's into it for that reason, like I could tell right off the bat. It's so obvious.
Have you had those situations come through?
Oh
with people?
yeah.
Yeah?
You'll definitely meet people like that. That
Yeah.
just like they care more about taking a picture with an animal than they do about the actual animal itself.
Some bullshit.
No, I mean it happens. I
It
mean
happens,
there's
man.
people like
It-
that
it's
in
in
every
everything.
field.
We were in one where, you know, stand-up comedians, most of them are like that, and then you meet the people that are actually in it to be good at it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Don't let comedians go
but
with
I
you on
think
no
there's
tour.
that
We
on
might fuck this up. We'll sit there and roast the snake. Like, oh man, my shit's bigger than you.
why the long face?
You know what, man? You want to tell us what it was like catching that big snake, man?
Oh
what
yeah,
was going
man.
on
That
there?
was
How'd
that
you
was
catch
an
that?
unbelievable experience. So I've before that snake, I'd caught over 400 pythons,
Right.
and so I was pretty well seasoned in that field. Like I was pretty aware of what to do in a situation like that. The thing is, the fact is, there's no way to prepare for something like that, because I had caught before that. I'd caught 4 pythons over 15 feet. None of them it came anywhere close to comparing to the 18.9 record breaker.
Dude,
like it
that
was.
sounded like some shit you see in the movie Anaconda.
Well, I mean, yeah. So what's it like? You spot this snake.
Yeah.
How quickly do you realize how fucking big it is?
So it was actually, because again, we hunt 2 different sides. Like we're always hunting both sides. So it was actually on my roommate Ryan's side, but he spotted a little piece of it through the trees in the water, and the second he saw it, he didn't know how big it was because he was actually driving, so he saw it from a lower vantage point. I was on the roof, so the second I flipped around and looked, I knew it was bigger than anything I'd ever seen before because I could see just the girth of it, and I knew that we were in for a battle at that exact moment. And then, walking up to that thing, it was intimidating, man, because like I said, I've caught 4 over 15 feet before that one, and comparatively, it was a walk in the park dealing with those
Yeah,
animals.
Really?
It's Yao Ming, man.
Dude, it's crazy. So walking up to that thing in the water, I mean, and it'd be one thing if that snake was on land. That's a much...
It was in water. I was
yeah.
gonna ask that.
You have
Oh,
a
shit.
lot more control over the situation when it's on land.
Hell yeah.
There's many people that, well, not like a lot, but I mean, because out of almost 500 pythons that I've caught now, I've only ever seen one that was in that 17, 18, 19 foot class.
Jesus.
So that shows you how rare those animals of that size class are. And I know multiple people that have lost them in that 16, 17, 18 foot range in the water. That have like seen them, tried to grab them, and just slipped right out of their hands because they're so powerful. And you add in that water element, and it becomes so much more complex.
Slippery snake.
So yeah,
Yep.
for real, dude. Like really, they're silky smooth. They're glossy. They're beautiful. But walking up to that thing, my roommate Ryan anchored into the tail, and he just held on for dear life. Like he was not letting go of that. And he's a strong dude, man.
And you guys are doing
So-
this barehanded, no gloves.
Yeah, barehanded. Yeah.
Jesus
So he
Christ.
anchors into the tail, and I'm going for the head grab, and I could have had it like quickly, but I lifted my hand up to do a head grab, and I stopped midair. And you can actually see it in the video on YouTube. It's on my Snakeaholic
I've
channel.
seen it.
And like you see my hand stop. Now some people might think I stopped because the snake was moving. I stopped because I realized my hand wasn't big enough to make it around the entire neck of the snake. It was going to be
Holy
like
shit.
spiking a volleyball. So I couldn't just grab it. So I didn't really know what to do, and I had to recalculate and just track the snake through the water and eventually just go for it. And I wound up doing one hand on top, one hand underneath, and just sandwiched in around the neck and just slid in and locked in right at the base of the jaws. But once I grabbed it, I immediately just dragged it over and handed the head off to my roommate Ryan, mostly because he has bigger hands.
Here, bro.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I
you've
mean,
already been wrestling.
yeah, so, I mean, that was, the most dangerous part was definitely grabbing the head. Like, and once I had it, I just passed it off to him because I knew he would be able to control it better than I could. And we functioned very, very well as a team. So,
Grabbing it by the head does what? It stimulates the snake from moving or something?
No, it was just like I was
So it
saying
won't bite
with the gators, it's the blind spot. Is if you lock in right behind the neck, it can't bite you. But, and again, that's a very gray area in terms of overall snake advice. I have seen, not like personally witnessed, but I've seen so many videos of people getting bit by trying to, like, not,
Grab
I'm
from
talking
behind
like
the neck.
all sorts of species of snakes from all over the world.
Yeah.
People get bit because they try and pin them and they don't know what they're doing, or they just make a mistake. It's so easy.
The anatomy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's a lot of experience that goes behind it.
But for the
yeah,
python's sake,
for the python specifically, yeah, once you get that head grab, now, it'll coil you up. And I think we didn't finish talking about that before, but like the coils are so, I mean, on a snake that size, if it really locked in and cinched down, it could shatter your rib cage, blow out your lungs, pop your eyes out of your head. Like, that's how strong these animals are. Yeah, once they get over 17 feet, these snakes are not eating mice and rats. They're eating deer, like full-size deer, full-size hogs, potentially up to 7-foot alligators. Like, they eat huge animals to sustain themselves.
Diet.
Yeah, they're very, very big predators.
You and your roommate could have easily been food.
Oh, yeah. We definitely, at the size, and that's the first python I've caught where I genuinely thought, yeah, this thing could eat me. Like,
Yeah,
and
you
I was
did that
never,
one
I
slip.
knew that the way we were going into it, it was going to treat us as a threat and exhibit defensive behavior. But the size comparison-wise, oh, yeah, it could have ate me. Like, in pure size
I would have
comparison.
walked up to it so cool, but look, I'm not here to harm you, baby. I'm lying.
Yeah.
I
Here
love-
it comes.
What?
No, but like, so once we actually
if
had
was
it.
you and me, you'd be food and I'd be gone.
So once we actually like had it under, like, a little bit more under control, like we dragged it out of the water and up the levee up to the top of the road there, and at that point you just got to keep fighting the coils off, and the pressure that these animals can exhibit is crazy powerful. Their favorite defense move is they'll throw 2 coils around and then do a coil around their own body and just cinch down like a tourniquet. And they can actually, even the small ones, like 7-8 footers, can cinch down so hard that it's just brutally painful. And you can't pull the coil off. You can only unwrap it.
Wow.
You'll never be able, even on like something small like a corn snake, you really probably aren't strong enough to pull that coil out. You just have to uncoil them. So that's the dynamic that, like,
you guys were up
Ryan and I, Ryan has a company, Feel the Berm Products, and Feel the Berm Inc. And when we're working out there, he's very experienced too. But so the two of us have a very good dynamic back and forth where we're able to, work off of each other without really needing to communicate too much. We know what to do. So
it's like a basketball team. You know each other's moves. and shit.
yeah. So
Yes.
we work very well as a team. So we had the situation under control pretty quickly. And the funny thing that a lot of people never see coming is that these snakes will actually play dead once they realize they can't get away. So that's always our goal, is to wrestle them to the point where, and we really don't know why. Nobody's ever had a concrete reason. My best theory that I've come up with is probably in their native range, they're dealing with some sort of like big predatory cat or something, which actually comes back to feral cats, where they'll just kind of play with something, and then when it stops moving, they lose interest. So maybe that might be where it comes from, but that's just a theory that I have.
Right.
But they will play dead. So our goal is to keep the situation under control long enough that snake plays dead, and then it's super easy to handle it at that point.
You play along. He's
Yeah.
dead, Larry. Don't worry about it. We're just gonna take this dead snake.
He ran out of shit to say, so it's time to go.
Yeah. You have been phenomenal, man. Just honestly, this has been great. Listen, you got an open door policy here, man. Whenever you want to come back, even though I see all these shows like Joe Rogan and all these networks are probably gonna go crazy looking for you and asking you a bunch of these crazy questions that we've asked you. Probably not as crazy as ours, I would imagine. I feel like ours are kind of up there in the crazy totem world. You know? But again, man, you're welcome to come back. I would love to have you back. I feel like there's so many other questions maybe that we didn't ask right now that later on when we're sitting at home, we're like,
you know how we did Women's Month?
Yeah.
We should maybe do an Earth Month and talk to different people that do stuff in the
You know what,
environment.
Kevin? Maybe we could do that, man. Maybe next time we'll bring your
that
best
up
friend, or maybe if you got any other activists or people that are, that are dealing with animals like that, like on your level or something similar, man. Send them over here. We love talking to people of that environment. You know what I mean? It was fun, man. I had a great time.
We have artists on here a lot, and what I've realized talking to scientists and people in nature is that they have kind of some of that artisticness in them. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think you displayed it really well tonight, man. Your passion is just like any musician or comedian or people that we've had on here.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, you're probably up there.
This guy's dedicated.
Yeah,
man.
seriously.
It's dedication, dude. My catchphrase, you'll see it on all my Instagram posts on Snakeaholic. It's just the bottom of every post will say, "Live your dreams and follow your passion."
I've read your posts, man. You do some pretty lengthy posts where you're very inspiring.
I do. That's like I try and the picture is a lot of times just like something from my life that I've seen, an animal I've interacted, but the bio a lot of times is almost barely related to it. Like I'll say what the animal is, how I found it, but a lot of times I just like to give people like a little bit of advice, a little bit of motivation.
Yeah, you do. I've seen that.
And
man.
that's like really what I've tried to do with my page, and that's why it's kind of different than a lot of other accounts that I've seen.
Have you had a chance to look at it?
But that, and then I think we're trying to go, but talking to you about self-improvement and kind of, you have like a Mamba mind state of sort in doing your thing, and that's probably one of the better ways to describe it. This guy got that Mamba in him.
Yeah. My friend, do you want to promote anything? Do you want people to give you a follow?
Yeah, you can check out all of my social media. It's all Snakeaholic. It's on Instagram. My Facebook page is Snakeaholic. My YouTube is Snakeaholic. You can come see me wrestle alligators at Everglades Holiday Park every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'll be in the Gator Pit wrestling, and my roommate's products is Feel the Berm products. Berm is BUM, as in Burmese python. So he's Feel the Berm.
And what type of products are they, real quick?
It's all like handmade leather goods. Basically, the pythons that that do get euthanized, we try and make sure nothing goes to waste. And he's made his whole business out of making the wallets, the belts, and he's very very creative. He's just a true artist in what he does, and everything is made to order, custom built by hand. So he really just pours his heart and soul into everything, and that's like his whole life is catching pythons and then making the products.
You're probably gonna have to get like at least 2 or 3 like record-setting pythons to make me some snake skin pants I want to wear.
Well, you gotta get one of those rip-off suits like you're about to play in that.
Yeah. You come off.
Dude,
we'll just make him like a jockstrap Speedo, and he can get tearaway pants on top of that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh man, Kevin, again, thanks, man. Really, Mateo, it's been awesome seeing you here. Mr. Goodnight took off on us. I think he got his snake full, and now he wants to go chase snakes. Now you got him all excited. He's probably gonna hit you up now.
Oh, we already talked.
It's planned
Mr.
out
Goodnight
already.
And I are going to the Everglades. We're doing some shit.
Okay, so you guys are gonna go.
We're starting catching those green lizards, and then we're gonna move on up to snakes.
Okay, that's what you're gonna do. Got it. Walter, man, Jesus, Walter's been he finally fucked off. Fuck off, Walter. Walter, make sure you got the music ready to go, my friend.
Got that, man.
All right. Guys, make sure you check out many episodes like this. Like and subscribe on YouTube, people. You see it popping up right there on your screen. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you give our good friend Kevin a follow here. He's got cool ass shit with these snakes. I've seen it. I watch the videos. They're real interesting. Guys, also everymanpodcastshow.com and any streaming platform for your podcast, we're available. Everyman Podcast Show, social media, Everyman Podcast Show, everything, Everyman Podcast Show. I am John Everyman. This is episode 124. We are out. Get that music cueing, man. He didn't help me on that.
No, he didn't. He was slacking over there.
Yeah, I was ending so nicely too. That was a disappointment with Walter.
He's
Hey,
just drifting
he didn't
out.
get that music cue. He got that music cue.
He's
and all.
He's like an invasive species of sorts. Like he is. Like,
What's the name of that song, Tail?
yeah, help him figure that out there. Listen, real quick, under that water, what do you think is swimming under that thing that's called a pool?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of mosquito larvae, I'll tell you that much.
Really? Okay, so he's probably the reason why malaria is still strong in certain areas. Like,
Yeah.
got it. Walter, like, this is an issue. And he's still working on that?
It'd be pretty cool to turn that into like a pond or something.
It looks like one right now, just not a safe one. We'll see you on the next one, people.
Let's get a python in that pool, man. Get an alligator and
If I had a soul, I would give you love. Ask me if I give a flying fling. Let me lay you in the ring, fully ammunited king.
Oh, they said they ain't cutting the lights off. Okay, I was just making
You don't
sure.
pay me enough.
Yeah, the sound guy says it's over. Fuck you. I don't even care if I got nothing to do with the electricity. I'm just out of here.